What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? We got
Woo!
it's going already. It's going down already. This is week 151, Voice of the Fans
Woo!
podcast. Got my man Cleavon up in steamy Seattle, man. What's going down?
What's going on, man? It's 90 degrees in the shade, man. It's hot as hell up here. It's hot as Hades. I've
Well,
experienced this my entire life in the 206.
man, you got it's been like that for the last few weeks, man.
I know it comes and goes, but right now it's back.
It's back, huh? Okay,
Yeah.
man. Get there on that beach. Well, I bet them Lake Washington's packed right now,
Oh man, every location you can think of.
I'm down here on location, Costa Mesa, California, very close to the Los Angeles Chargers training camp.
Mm.
We about to do the show this week, man. We're going to talk about the NBA free agency, how things are shaking out, we're going to talk about is Kareem coming back to the Lakers? Is Kareem on his way back? You guys looking to bring Cat back or Magic? Who you got? Worthy? Which one of the guys you trying to bring back?
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. We got some NBA Summer League action. Man, these young cats is coming into the league ready to play. A lot of them are. And it's nice to see some of the best get down. We're seeing, obviously these guys is fresh out of college, 1 year, 2 years out of college. So there's a lot to be desired in some cases. But in some of these cases, man, these guys is ready to go. These guys are shining, ready to shine bright. We got our AFC West predictions.
Mm.
NFL predictions. And so we got a lot of heavy NFL topics. We're going to talk about NFL Hall of Fame. And then, as always, we got This Week in History. So we got some history lessons that we're going to expound upon you guys. So, as always, man, fans, get comfortable because we're going to give you a lot to chew on. Want to give a shout out to my guys at HMB Media. HMB Media, give them a shout out. Go ahead, give them a follow. HMB Media TV on YouTube. That's one way you can watch this show. If you're on the go, we appreciate you guys listening to us, whether you're working out, washing clothes, running errands. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to Voice of the Fans podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube and you want to watch us when you're outside, when you're going on your walk or having a jog or doing stuff on the go, be sure to check us out. Tuned in, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're on most any platform that you guys use to listen to podcasts. You can find Voice of the Fans podcast. You can even ask Alexa, tune in to Voice of the Fans podcast. She'll play you our latest show. That's how easy it is. So make sure you guys check us out when you're on the go. As always, I want to give my man Cleavon. We want to thank Cleavon for his time. Cleavon takes a beating around here. And if we looked at his back, you might see some whelps and some lash markings because
Wow.
week after week I tend to abuse Cleavon, and I just want to give Cleavon a shout out for just keep coming back week after week. Thank you, Cleavon. Thank you, Cleavon. What we got on today? We got on Rams colors again.
No, you seem to keep gravitating towards that. This is just the blue and white, man. Just
Okay.
crisp and cool.
I mean
Yeah.
that's the Rams. The Rams practicing in blue and white. I'm not sure if you know.
Now, that's something you would know down there in the LA area. That's not something I pay attention to.
Okay, just checking, man. I got to check in with you, man, just to make sure. I mean, you come fresh with the U. What's the U stand for?
Oh, Euphoria Clothing Company, a clothing company that myself and my wife started about 9 years ago. Very positive vibes, very positive energy, and this is our logo.
9 years ago, huh? Well, I'm still waiting on my camouflage U.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, as a matter of fact, I need your address. Get you the Tua Tagovailoa with the one on the side in the dolphin colors. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's fresh.
The dolphin
And
colors.
the camo. I'm sending both to you next
The
week.
dolphin colors would be dope. I don't have. I hope you don't have no TT inscribed on either side of it.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So let's get right into this, man. It's August 11th, 2021. Man, we're a month, 4 weeks away from NFL football, live NFL football, where the games count. We're right here. We are right here, fans. August 11, 2021, week 151 of this iteration of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Cleveland, man, it's just it keeps going and going and going. Somebody once told me, man, we don't have enough content to go all season long. We don't have enough content to go 52 weeks out of the year. You know who told me that? Whoever told me that, they were wrong. Whoever told me that, let that come out their mouth. They were absolutely wrong. You believe that now, right, Cleveland?
Oh, I hear what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Playboy.
Yeah, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Pick it up. Pick it up. Each week we look at our numbers. With it being August 11th, we're going to look at the number 11. When you think of number 11, Cleveland, who comes to your mind first, or who wore that number the best?
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas. Okay. Isaiah Thomas. Okay, that's a good number. Cat from Chicago. Won a ring for the Bad Boys. 2 rings for the Bad Boys. You know who come to my mind best, man? You may not remember this guy. I don't even think you remember this guy. Kelly Stauffer. Big arm quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, man, way back in the day.
I'm not going to tell Isaiah Thomas you said that. Kelly Stauffer came to his mind before Isaiah Thomas came to your mind. Wow.
No. Here's why. I'm about to explain to you why that is the case. I mean, there's Phil Simms there too. There's Edgar Martinez, obviously. Kelly Stauffer, the play where he dropped back, dropped the ball. Dropped back he was a quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Took the ball from center, dropped back, dropped the ball. The guard, I think it was a guard, went to go reach down and pick it up, elbowed him in the nose. Kelly Stauffer rolls out, throws a touchdown pass with the broken nose. I don't know if you remember that crazy play. I mean, that's just the crazy shit that went on with the Seahawks. Do you remember that play?
Yeah, vaguely. I remember a lot more of Isaiah Thomas's career than highlights.
That's a fair point. But, that was the Seahawks. That's how crazy the Seahawks were back in the day. Well, Isaiah Thomas, who can forget? Come on, man. He's a legend, dude. Two championships. What was it? 16 points on a essentially broken ankle against the Lakers back in the day.
Yeah, 29 points in the third quarter. Perhaps the most impressive playoff performance in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, it's one of them against your Lakers. Or were you an Isaiah Thomas fan back then, or were you a Laker fan?
I was a Zeke fan for sure.
I mean, but he playing your Lakers. Were you a Laker fan back then, or when did you jump on the bandwagon?
It's not a bandwagon jumping thing, Cam. You're trying to make it like, it's some type of twisted thing.
I'm just trying to.
Isaiah's my guy. Everybody knows that. Isaiah's my guy.
Trying to establish though when you jumped on the bandwagon though. That's what we just trying to establish. Let the fans know at which point, because the Sonics were playing back in the day. The Sonics there.
Yeah, listen, all you need to know is the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win the NBA championship in 2022.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And the person that comes to mind first when I think of 11 is Isaiah Thomas. The person that wore it best is Isaiah Thomas.
You get kind of testy here.
No, not really.
You get kind of testy here, man. we having a discussion and you try to cut it short because you're challenging your Laker fandom.
You're challenging both at the same time. I don't appreciate either one. You're challenging my Laker fandom and you're challenging my Isaiah-ness. I don't appreciate either one.
Well, I'm wondering which one which one weighs the most. And then again, like, were you an Isaiah Thomas fan? If you're an Isaiah Thomas fan, how could you be so complimentary of what he did to the Lakers? And if you're a Laker fan, it's like they got beat or they won a series when Isaiah did go off for 29 in the third quarter. But, I mean, which one? Were you just like there in awe? Were you just spewing all over the place because you're watching Magic and Worthy and AC Green do their thing? And then Isaiah
at the time I was 15, Cam, and let me tell you, my emotions were all over the place. Yeah, well, okay, I was definitely rooting for my guy. At the same time, Laker Nation is what it is. The Lake Show at the time.
There you go.
Showtime.
So you were on the bandwagon back then.
Showtime in the Forum, which is now Mr. Ballmer's new palace, and congratulations to him for reformatting that thing and bringing the community together as a whole, and it's going to be a great facility. I can't wait for that facility to open.
He's tearing the forum down. That's going to be a parking lot. That's going to be Ballmer's lot right there. And all those memories and
but whatever he's doing, I mean, with his $100 billion, I mean, kudos to him and much success.
So when we week 151, when you think of the number 51, who wore that number best, or who first comes to your mind?
Person that comes to mind first is linebacker for the Chicago Bears, Dick Butkus. The person that wore it best is probably Ichiro Suzuki.
What?
Yeah.
How does Dick Butkus come to your mind first, but then you tell me Ichiro wore best? I mean, that's...
Well, Ichiro was MVP of the league and Rookie of the Year in the same season. He's got over 5,000 total hits in 2 different leagues, 3,000 hits in Major League Baseball, 10-time Gold Glove winner. I don't know how many stolen bases he has. I believe he has tied the record for the most hits in a season in the American League. I mean, that's just, part of the resume.
It seems like that's a case for being the best to wear the jersey.
That's what I just said. The person that comes to mind first is Dick Butkus. The person that wore the jersey the best, or that number the best, would be Ichiro Suzuki.
Okay, I can't argue with the Ichiro Suzuki. That's should have been top of both lists there. Man, if we get into this NFL season, which is just, like I say, just weeks away, the NFL decided to come down today and let it be known that they're cracking down on taunting. No more taunting. No more deuces up in the end zone. Tyreek Hill does the deuces when he runs into the end zone. No more of that. They talk about in the essence of player safety. They don't want any taunting. And I kind of see it as we're going to bring baseball into it as we talk about Ichiro. If you don't want the bat flip, strike me out. Don't let me hit the home run. If you don't want the taunting, stop me from blowing past you. Stop me from blowing you up. When I get a sack, if I can't do the sack dance, I mean, the sack dance should be allowed. How absurd do you think this NFL cracking down on taunting is? What kind of absurd ruling is this?
Very similar to when they started trying to crack down on end zone celebrations and that kind of thing, and enforcing the 15-yard penalty for certain things. It's just it's this league trying to have more control over the narrative and what is it they want their players to do. I mean, it's unfortunate. The emotion and the enthusiasm is going to come out, and eventually it's going to be costly and penalty-wise for a team that displays that type of character.
The crazy thing is that they even had a ruling a few years ago, let it be known, hey, we're bringing back the end zone dances. No longer will we penalize you if you do the duck, duck, goose, or you do the frog leaps in the end zone.
Right. You can kind of choreograph it and then kind of do your thing and go. So, it's very contradictory with regards to kind of, loosening the reins a little bit on that. But, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Taunting is taunting. I mean, what is your definition of taunting? Especially on a football field when big plays happen. I mean, there's going to be excitement. There's going to be enthusiasm. There's going to be
emotion.
Emotion.
Yeah. I think it's a terrible idea for the NFL. I mean, he didn't even have this discussion. First, if we even have a discussion, because they announced this earlier today, or I think it was yesterday, excuse me, then for us having this discussion is a bad job on the NFL. So, like we talked about, preseason is essentially upon us. What are you more concerned with, just as an NFL fan, I guess? The Colts or the Cowboys QB situation? So I remember a few years ago, somebody was busting my chops because the guy, oddly enough, was in Indianapolis throwing around a softball. He's practicing with the softball, practicing with tennis balls, just to get his formation together. somebody would beat me up about this, but now we see this happening down in Oxnard, California, where the Cowboys are practicing, and we're having the same situation. What's your thoughts on this situation with Dak and the Justin Wentz getting hurt and having to have surgery, and we don't know what the deal is? Share your thoughts with me.
Sure. Dak Prescott will be there under center week 1. Sounds like Carson Wentz is on track to be under center week 1.
Okay, so so there's no concerns with Dak throwing around the tennis ball and the Nerf ball.
Nope.
That didn't even come. That's not even a conversation you're willing to have.
Nope.
But a few years ago, that was a major topic of conversation for you.
Well, I mean, you see what happened with that whole thing, right? That whole fiasco, right? The golden child, the what could have been. What was his name?
I mean, I'm not sure what you're talking about. What a fiasco?
You remember his name?
Andrew Luck. I know exactly who you're talking
about. Okay. What the hell?
I know exactly who
you're talking about. Elected to say his name out loud. like damn. Andrew Luck. Your dude, your guy.
Andrew
the
Luck,
golden child. The Messiah.
Andrew
the prodigy.
Luck. Andrew Luck was a couple things with Andrew Luck.
He did get to an AFC Championship game that one time.
His dad was his dad was rich. His dad was rich, and Andrew Luck was too smart for him to have a long career in the NFL. So those smarts and well-to-do doesn't equal longevity in the NFL. Yeah, that's what happened there. Man, what's your thoughts on Hard Knocks? We see the first episode yesterday. Any takeaways from the Hard Knocks? Did you happen to catch the Hard Knocks episode?
I did not catch the Hard Knocks episode. They always try and make it so dramatic. They always try and capture all the emotion of players getting cut, and it's just.
Well, there was nobody getting cut. It was all.
I know there's nobody getting cut just yet, but you know what I'm saying with Hard Knocks, man. They're just trying to pull the heartstrings of people and show the other side of football, and then not really show the football side of football. So it's like, it's not really a lot to take from it.
Well, yeah, yesterday they had a lot of complimentary scenes and word from one Mr. Dak Prescott, and then Jerry. Jerry just rambles on, so it's nice to ramble on. I would like to be a media member in one of Jerry's press conferences because he gives you so much meat to chew on and so many ways to contradict himself. Like that seemed like fun. It would seem like fun. Whereas on the flip side, Greg Popovich doesn't really misstep, doesn't really give you a lot of angles, a lot of.
Hey man, you better cut that out. Talking about Pop, you and Pop are like this.
No,
man.
This is exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying, Pop is known to be kind of tough on the media, but he doesn't give you a lot of. He doesn't give you. How should I say it? He says what he means what he say. Very short.
So it's not a lot of contradiction in what he's saying. Short, so therefore, it's hard to pick it apart. Right.
Exactly. And Jerry Jones, there's so much there. He gives you so. I mean, it's like a T-bone steak. I mean, there's so much there that you can chew on and deal with. That it's I mean that would have to be fun, or is it so much there that they just get overwhelmed? They just get fat and full on what he gives them. So that's what I'm saying. How different it is. I had a odd situation today, or not today. This earlier this week is Wednesday, so this probably happened Monday, where asking to speak to a particular player, and the PR guy was like, "No, why do you? He's not good with the media." I'm like, "Not good with the media. I'm just." And another media member came to me and says, "Yeah, he's just not a good interview. I don't like him. I would never ask to interview him." I'm like, "Well, that's your dumbass. That's because you don't know how to talk to people. That's like because you don't know how to relate to somebody. How can somebody NFL Man of the Year candidate, local products, goes to a local school, drafted. He hasn't had to leave. He hasn't essentially had to leave the city. He had to leave the county because now they play in a little south of where he grew up. But local product, went to Inglewood High School, ended up going to USC. Now playing for the Los Angeles Chargers. Like there's a lot to go on right on just that alone. With that, never mind what happens on the football field. On just that alone, how he's kind of came out the mud and able to achieve become an NFL player. There's I can talk to him about that for a long time. And then not to mention this is his time to shine. The player, I mean, those fans of the Chargers can figure out who I'm talking about. But then to know that the road or the path has kind of been clear for him now this season to step up, take on a bigger workload for the team, and become a force. I mean, there's plenty to go on right there. And for the PR person and this same media person to say he's a bad interview, I'm like, the poor job by you guys. Poor job by you guys for not being able to dive in there and get a story out of it. I think it's a remarkable story, and I can just talk about his perseverance and growth for 8 hours. I mean, what's your thoughts? I'm not going to mention his name, but what's your thoughts on? I gave you his profile right there.
You spoke at length about what a great story it was and how much opportunity it had to kind of pull those leaves apart and kind of see what that was all about. But I gotta trust the PR people. They're all about trying to promote the brand and promote the team. And if he's not good at it, they know he's not good at it. And
they're trying to keep it safe. That's what the PR team is doing. They're trying to keep it safe.
It's in everyone's best interest if that dude doesn't talk. I think that's what they're saying. I don't think it's like he has this wealth of knowledge or this experience that the team doesn't want to divulge to the rest of the world. I think it's like, whoa, no, we've seen you a couple of times, probably better, especially early in your career, that you just kind of, hey, we're gonna, coddle you as much as possible. So I think that the PR person definitely knows what they're talking about, and there's a reason that they say that.
The reason I can tell you the reason that they say that is they don't want that other conversation to be had about life.
So, I mean, if you think it's all about censorship and they're just trying to, be politically correct, and that's fine. That's one way to go with it.
That's 100%.
You're much closer to the situation than I am. But, I mean, from the outside looking in, it would seem like, okay, wow, that dude is just not good in front of the camera. And some people just aren't.
No.
Like, imagine if Marshawn Lynch had to do an interview, like, every week.
But okay, you're right. You're right in that situation. But then again, with Marshawn Lynch, like I want to talk to Marshawn.
Of course you do.
And I want to I want to pull something else out of Marshawn other than.
But he doesn't want to talk to you though. That's what I'm saying. He'll talk to you when he feels like it. How do you know what this player really wants to do? I mean, you're making it seem like they're like censoring him because he wants to talk, but
no. What you're missing what I'm saying. You go immediately to the Marshawn Lynch example. Well, let's stick right there to the Marshawn Lynch example.
Okay.
In a press setting, and when we've already heard him say, "I'm only here so I don't get fined." We've already heard him say that. My job as a media member is to skirt around that fence that he's put up and get him to open up somehow, however that is. Do you want to talk about your Ike sandwich shop? Do you want to talk about what's happening in Oakland, the school you built in Oakland? Do you want to talk about the gym that you built in Oakland? My job as a media member is to get around the hurdle that he's already put up and break that down so we can have a conversation, a dialogue. That's how I see it. Where versus the PR person might be saying he doesn't like to talk. So, Okay, Marshawn, it's okay. You say I just here so I don't get just here so I don't get fined. That's okay. Well, that's enough. That you spoke. That's enough. But now when he's up there, that's my job now. I see it as my job, rather than shuffling my papers around, getting up and walking out because he's not going to give us something. I can't ask you how was your day. I can't ask you, um, you know, what do you think of Russell Wilson? I can't ask you that because I know you're not going to give me anything. My job is to kind of ask you something that where I'm going to get a listed a decent response. You follow what I'm saying?
I do, and it sounds like you're a little reluctant to really believe what the PR person is saying, and you want to find out for yourself exactly, what's going on.
What actually makes this different is because I talked to the person before. I mean, times have changed obviously for everybody since we have COVID, and I've had conversations with them in the locker room before. So to tell me that he's bad with media, I mean that's you doing your job and protecting them. But to tell, I mean, this kid is the team's Walter Payton Man of the Year nomination. So there's some substance there. That he was the team's Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee.
So
So
when you were talking to him, was it in front of the camera or just like
it's
private?
been both. It's been both. It's been both. So I know there's something there. You know what I'm saying? I've had interaction with them to where I know there's some conversation there. Now, maybe this other particular media member did not and walked by him and hadn't said a word to him in the 3 years that he'd been covering the team, which is probably likely the case. But I know I've had interaction, I've had dialogue, so I know that there's something there. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and you're in a much closer situation than I am. I'm just saying from the outside looking in, that would be just kind of my take on it. Not having the background and the experience that you've had. Obviously, you've interviewed him before, and how he is or is not with the media, whether he feels comfortable or uncomfortable, or whether he'll give you a good interview or not. I mean, you have personal knowledge and experience with that. So, your take on what the PR person is trying to do or what their motivation is completely totally different, being that you had exposure and experience with this person before.
Yeah. There's certainly some people you put on the mic and you ask them one question and they're going to talk for the next half hour. There are people like that.
Or there are some people that you put on the mic and it's like, whoa, you probably shouldn't have said any of that. Wow. Now we're all in a bad situation.
I'll give you an example. Different sport.
Hey man, you guys get money for hitting folks out there?
Again, I've had that same exact conversation, not with him, but with a different person. I've had that same exact conversation.
I know. So somebody a little less media savvy would have answered the question entirely differently, right?
No. Well, again, camera on, camera off. You get different responses. The camera off. I've asked them literally that question. Would you how do you adjust your? And it started up because I want to know about how when you're tackling somebody, like you coming around the tackle, you broke free. You coming around the tackle, you see the quarterback standing there. Like, what are you going for? Are you going for the midsection? Are you going for the arm? Are you going for the shoulder? Are you going for the leg? What are you going to hit to kind of? Are you trying to hurt this quarterback? Are you trying to get the ball? Are you trying to knock it out to get the ball? Like, what's your mentality as you come around there and you see him standing there? You're 2 steps away from him. And I was asking, like, are you thinking about the rule changes where you can only you can't hit the quarterback below the knee, you can't hit him up high in the head. You only have this his midsection and his waist and his legs to attack. Like, are you concerned with the getting a penalty right there? Are you concerned with taking a fine right there? He's like, well, yeah, I don't want to get fined, obviously, because that costs me money. But then my follow-up question was, are there some quarterbacks you're willing to take the fine for? And he's like, absolutely. And I said, well, who might that be? Now he's not going to give me that answer, but he says absolutely. So that was That was kind of funny situation, but that's the difference from being in the locker room, just doing this Zoom, and now it's not Zoom no more, but we got to be 10 feet away. That's kind of weird. But I'll give you, to your point, I'll give you the example where the PR person maybe he cringes when he puts this guy on the microphone, and I'll tell you exactly who this is, and you'll find it. You'll be like, yeah, I can see that, and that's Marcus Morris Sr. Marcus Morris Sr. Plays for the Clippers. The PR team, they have to cringe every time he goes on the mic because there's no filter with him. He's gonna cuss. He's gonna cuss about the ref. He's gonna cuss about the opposing team. He's gonna cuss about you if you don't ask the right question. Marcus Morris Sr. has absolutely zero filter, and you can go through any of the interviews you see on Voice of the Fans on YouTube. You just type in Marcus Morris with Voice of the Fans, and there is no filter there. And that PR people, when they put him up, I wonder, are they trying to warn him that this is being taped, that these conversations are being taped, and they're going to be broadcasted? I wonder if they actually warn him, or they just say the hell with it. Or we're about to take one right here, guys, because there's going to be no filter there. To your point, and some guys you can warn, some guys you can warn, some guys you can't. He's not one of the guys you can warn, and that's great. I love it because we're always going to get some truthful stuff from him. So we got diverted there, but Hard Knocks, you're not into Hard Knocks. I'm telling you, you gotta get into it just for Jerry. Just for Jerry. I'm not the hugest Cowboys fan, but just for Jerry, because Jerry's gonna say some crazy stuff, and he's rambling. He's at that old age where your grandfather just rambles, and
yes.
As a family member, you don't want to hear grandpa's ramble all the time. But as a spectator of the sport, he starts to ramble, and it's kind of comical as he gets to rambling. What do you think? What would you do with Deshaun Watson? He's not gonna. Do you play Deshaun? Do you sit him down? He's not on the commissioner exempt list. We know these legal situations. Until he goes to Florida.
The Houston Texans, you play him as long as the league says it's allowable, and you don't trade him this season until you get a little bit further along with his legal issues. You can't get face value for him.
He won't be deposed until February.
Well, then it sounds like you got to wait through the 2021 season before you can trade him. And again, that wasn't what you wanted. That's what he wanted, and was in the process of demanding until all of these masseuse allegations came out. In which case, it was like, oh well, man, who are we going to trade you to when 23 women says you've been sexually assaulting them? Before we get any type of trade value whatsoever, we got to get that part resolved, because I'm not taking 2 fifth-round picks for you because the other team doesn't know if you're going to be eligible or not.
I'm not going to touch on this. I'm just going to ask this question. Did you hear the interview with one of the masseuses and how she described her interaction with
No, pontificate on that, man. Explain.
No, I'm not even gonna have that conversation. But you got to find out. You got to find it on YouTube, fans.
Sounds like it was graphic and not good for Deshaun. Is what it sounds like.
It was graphic and it was icky for Deshaun. I'll put it like that. It's
okay.
People like what they like.
You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
No. Again,
you're not going to trade him.
Deshaun, you're welcome.
If the league will allow you to play him.
Deshaun, you are welcome in South Beach. You're welcome in South Florida. We got a spot for you. In fact, we're trying to work it out.
Actually, Cam, I don't know. You don't speak to Steve very much, huh?
No.
Me and Steve Nelson, fans, if you guys don't know who Steve Nelson is, he is the president of Dolphin Nation 305.
Okay.
And he basically told me, Cam, that they're not going to trade Tua Tagovailoa for someone who could be in jail in like 6 weeks. They're just not going to do it.
No. 6 weeks. I just told you they don't even depose. He's not even up for deposal till February. So that means he could play the whole season.
I beg your pardon. He cannot be playing, given what the commissioner is going to say, in like any time now. Yeah.
The commissioner hasn't done nothing.
And
This
you
case has
already
been going
said the interviews are not going well, man. That's
No.
just the one girl that had enough confidence to come out, and once she comes out,
So
you know how this goes, right?
it's we talked about Trevor Bauer's situation. How we're just gonna stay away. We're just gonna put that over here in the corner, and we're not gonna even talk about what's going on, right? Like that's along those same lines.
No, bro. This is
It is.
a Fat Albert type snowball. This is a Jello pudding type snowball, man. This is a Cosby Show type snowball, man. Once the snowball gets to going, you're just like, well, just how many times are we supposed to be like, nah, they're lying. Nah, they're lying.
It's not about. And this is why you got to hear it. I refuse to have the conversation and repeat what was talked about. But this is why you have to hear what the lady had to say. It is not. It's all personal preference. What do you like in the bedroom? That's what it comes down to. What do you like in the bedroom? What are you okay with? And some people like different stuff. I'm not with what Deshaun was with. Okay, I'm gonna put it like that. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not with that.
Okay.
And
again, man, is this who you want to be your franchise quarterback, the face of your
Deshaun
franchise?
Watson,
You want me to trade what for this dude?
I'm not in the locker room.
I'll give you 2 fifth-round picks in 2023 and 2027 for that.
Let me tell you something. One of the mistakes the Dolphins made years ago was when
I'll give you 2 fifth-round picks.
For who?
For Deshaun Watson.
No, I'm offering that. I'm not offering that. I'm not taking 2 first-round picks for that. If I'm Houston, I'm gonna say, if I'm Houston, I'll give you. If that's your offer, Houston, I got.
No. If I'm another team wanting to get Deshaun Watson, I'll give you 2 fifth-round picks.
I'm not trying to get rid of him. I'm trying to acquire Deshaun Watson.
Well, that's exactly my point. So what are we talking about here?
I'm trying to acquire him. So for what you're talking about, so all this, his preference and what he likes in the bedroom, does that have is that the type of guy I want running my team? Absolutely. Because we don't play football games on Sunday in anybody's bedroom. We play him on a football field where he's already proven that he's a high level MVP style quarterback. That's what I want. That's what I want on my football team. Nobody said that Marv Albert. And we know that what Marv Albert was into, that he couldn't be the best at his job because he like wearing panties and like looking at men sweat. Nobody gave Marv Albert a hard time. So why are we giving Deshaun
Man,
Watson?
I can't believe you drug Marv Albert into all this. As he rides into the sunset of retirement, you brought Marv Albert into all this.
You know exactly what I'm talking about because everybody knows exactly what Marv was into. Everybody knows that. That's there's no story. That's a story
that has nothing to do with the Houston Texans trying to trade.
It has a lot to do with it. Exactly. Marv Albert didn't. NBC gave him a month break. Take a month off and come back, and you'll still be doing NBA finals.
It was a year.
Okay.
And
he came right back.
And that was not the starting quarterback for a NFL franchise whom you have to pay $40 million a year for their services, and you don't even know if they're going to be available, and you don't even know what kind of person this is. Are they going to go out and, request these kind of things again for some people that just are unassuming and are not down with all that? No, you're taking a huge risk. And again, as Steve Nelson said of Dolphin Nation 305, we're okay with Tua.
Okay, we're trying to be better than okay.
We're okay with Tua.
We're trying to be better than
we're comfortable with the maturation process. And again, it's small steps. He's going to be okay.
Small steps.
Would we rather have someone that's got these type of character issues, and we're not sure if they're ever going to be available after next year? No, we don't want that.
Listen. The Dolphins made a huge mistake when
Cam, we don't know what kind of video evidence is out there, man.
We don't know what kind of video evidence is out there.
We don't.
there may be some audio. Well, there's audio evidence already. And like
Okay,
I
and
said,
that's already a little bit damning, right? I said video evidence.
Yeah, I just encourage you guys to go listen and find this audio on Deshaun Watson, one of the masseuses. It's just icky. That's what it is. It's like, ugh, like really, Deshaun? Like, dude, you're an NFL quarterback. That's what you're into? Ugh. It was like, ugh. Nonetheless, I will contend that if we go back to the bullygate in South Florida, I would have cut the lineman who was complaining that he was getting bullied before I cut Richie Incognito. Because if you're a 300-pound man on the football field and you let somebody bully you with words in the locker room, you're probably not going to be able to perform on a football field. We need a dog. We need a beast who can take that and give it back. So they cut the wrong person. We ended up keeping that guy who then got sent to San Francisco, and a year later he's out the league. Where Incognito kind of got a bad rap. He's sent to the Raiders and improved their running game immediately, and he kind of went to the Buffalo Bills for a season or two, improved their run game immediately. Meanwhile, the Dolphins have been floundering around looking for linemen while he was out. While we cut Richie Incognito, just come on. Some things you got to take the good with the bad. There's not. Or the perceived bad. Not all of this is bad all the time. So you just got to kind of bite the bullet. We know preseason, like the second string, third string guys get a lot of action. They get the time to shine here. And as we know, I told you weeks ago that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't. I didn't expect Aaron Rodgers to show up in Green Bay until Wednesday before week 1. And he decided to show up before training camp, Wednesday before training camp. As we know, he got some stuff off his chest, but we don't expect Aaron Rodgers to throw any passes outside of the highlight passes we've seen in practice. We don't expect him to throw any passes in game action. What do you expect from Jordan Love during the preseason?
To do as much as he can to get ready for next season. Soak up as much experience and exposure as he can, and understand that he's on the clock.
So, I mean, do you expect him to shine, or are you expect him to kind of be a so-so?
No, I expect there to be a lot of start and stop, a lot of growing pains, and he's going to do the best he can, but he understands that he's trying to absorb an entire playbook to be the guy. Of course, you're always trying to absorb the playbook to be the guy because, of course, injury can happen at any time. But no, he's really going to have to be the guy next year. The agreement was that at the end of the season, Aaron Rodgers can walk.
Got it. Yeah, you're right. At the end of the season, they can walk. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that was too. So I got it. I mean, how do you? I mean, it's kind of tough. Obviously, just him coming out of the blue, we don't know what to expect from this guy. But it'll be interesting to see kind of how he develops, because again, we haven't seen what he's able to do. Let me ask you something about what you may have a little bit more insight on is what's up with the Seahawks and not paying their players, man? What Dwayne Brown said he wants a contract. He said this weeks ago. Why are the Seahawks they're not going to pay him? Are they not going to pay him? Are they considering not paying him? What's the deal here?
Timing of when Dwayne Brown decided that he was unhappy with his contract was really, really kind of corny to me. I mean, obviously you want to have the most leverage, get as much money as you can. But, I mean, you could have, started this negotiation, these talks long ago. He waited until like a very inopportune time. He knew the team was in the process of trying to, get, the best safety in the game under contract. And, you throwing your 2 cents in there is just, terrible. But, fortunately, Russell Wilson has come to the defense. He has been willing to, restructure his contract. And, we'll see how things go, man. But like I say, man, the timing was kind of corny, man, in my opinion.
The timing was kind of corny because he wants to get paid?
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, if that's the way you want to do it, just wait until you have absolute total leverage. Just say, "Hey, I want some more money." Like, oh, okay, well, cool. Well,
What would
actually, I
you?
was in the process of trying to, work this out with the best, free safety in the game. But we will get to you. Maybe we can talk about some things. But wow, you kind of caught us off guard here. Kind of blindsided us. So things will go the way they go.
When would you suggest he step up and let it be
Maybe at the end
known?
of the season, let Cass know, hey man, I don't have a lot of time in my contract here. This is how I'm kind of feeling about things. Let's kind of get the ball rolling a little bit.
Didn't he say that? Didn't he say that before training camp?
No, he
Like
did
3
not.
weeks ago.
No, he did not.
What did what was it? Was we had this conversation 3 weeks to a
I
month
know,
ago?
what? Like either the beginning of training camp or what? Like a week before training camp? It's like, yeah,
Exactly.
the timing was terrible.
I'm just curious as to when should the guy step up and talk about he wants to
Like I said, at the end of the season when he realized he wasn't happy with his contract.
or not when he knows he has leverage. He has all the leverage and all the power.
Okay, well, Cam, hey, whatever's going on, we'll see if Dwayne Brown decides that he wants to play, football for the Seahawks, man. To be continued.
See, you guys are so quick up there just to drop the conversation. I mean, you guys are so quick to do that without any kind of recourse or without any kind of conversation.
Like I said, Cam, Russell Wilson, the captain of this team, has not missed a start as an NFL starter. Has already said that he's willing to renegotiate his contract, restructure his contract to, perhaps give a few extra dollars to, kind of rectify the situation. But, we don't know what's going to happen, Cam.
He's done that. Hasn't he done that before? So so now you guys are calling on players to restructure their contract so they can.
No, they're not calling on players to restructure their contract. Some players, captains, leaders have brought it upon themselves to offer the restructuring of their contract if it will alleviate this situation going forward. If it will help to alleviate the situation going forward. We don't even really know what Dwayne Brown wants.
If it will bail
out. Right now, we're in the middle of dealing with Jamal Adams, so we can't put out two fires, man.
I mean, what are you in the middle of dealing with them? Pay the guy, write the check. Write the check. There's no. What do you mean pay the guy? We're in the middle of dealing with the guy. Write the damn check. It takes about 20 seconds. Write the damn check. Why are you guys so stingy up there?
There are salary cap implications. It impacts the entire team when you make decisions like that. It's just not that simple.
But to pay your best players?
This is not the NBA.
This is
not Major League Baseball. There are implications to it.
To paying your best players, there's always implications to paying your best players.
There are salary cap restrictions, yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And so, Alden Smith, you got to hear. Oh wow, you make an easy decision. You sign a guy in April 15th. Less than 6 months later, you cut the guy. You didn't want to stand behind him. You didn't want to. You couldn't.
We gave him a set of rules and guidelines to adhere by. He didn't adhere to them.
Ain't that a bitch? You signed him. You knew what you were dealing with when you signed him.
Right. Exactly that. And there was certainly a threshold, and he surpassed that. This is the same team that signed Josh Gordon for 3 straight seasons, man. Come on, man.
Right. So
we'll work with you. Must have done something that we could that the organization just couldn't tolerate.
If they have a contract beneficial to the team that work with them. So Alden Smith must have asked for renegotiation.
So you don't think they wanted one of the most dominant in his time, one of the most dominant pass rushers in the game?
We don't know what he was coming back.
Apparently he was a physical specimen. Throwing around the equipment and whatnot, he was a beast out there. It's not like we didn't want him to have him out there.
I mean, without, and I hate to say,
it's Alden Smith, bro.
I mean, I hate to say this, but without a few drinks the night before, we don't know what he was going to do on the court, on the field. You know what I'm saying? we not sure we not sure what we gonna get out of him. Because
so you make that statement and then you question the Seahawks organization for letting him go. Wow. Do you have some information that we don't know?
My whole point is they knew what they were getting. Like what
They
changed
knew the
now?
risk that they were taking, and
Right,
now
exactly.
it has not come to fruition. So it's time to cut bait.
Mm, okay, whatever. So what stood out to you about the NFL Hall of Fame weekend? I don't know if you watched the football game. I don't know if you watched the Hall of Fame speeches, but what stood out to you? Um, everybody, Peyton Manning got everybody thinking he should be the next commissioner of the league, trying to run Roger Goodell out. What stood out to you?
I saw more of the Saturday than the Sunday cam, and what stood out to me is what a company man Troy Polamalu was, and how much he was a Steeler through and through, and just what that meant to him, and how he tried to um, replicate that on the field, and kind of just in his everything about him was just the Steeler way.
I mean,
Um,
that was nothing we didn't know, though. I mean, we
right,
knew
but I
this
mean,
from the
to hear
start.
you kind of when you get your jacket to kind of really play into that was a little bit interesting. I didn't think he was that deep into it.
Yeah,
And my guy Jimmy, just how much remorse and regret he had for just having to um, go to those lengths to achieve that greatness, and just the sacrifices, and how much he um, regrets it, and just doesn't feel good about himself about it, and just kind of the accolades and the success at this point in his life don't mean as much as the regret of the things that he gave up to achieve that. So
I
I
mean
thought that was very interesting.
that's always interesting, but we have that's hindsight is 2020. Looking
Right.
back at it, however, when you're I heard another interview with Jimmy, and he's talking about how the loss to what was that 84 when Penn State beat University of Miami with with Testaverde.
Testaverde through the 5 interceptions. They lost
Yeah,
14-9. Yeah.
yeah, that loss drove him. He felt responsible for that loss. He's like, we had the more talent than they did, and it was my coaching that just trying to take chances and trying to keep, um, never dialing it back to just play conservative football, allowed them to beat us, and that loss drove him to be he didn't never want to feel that pain again, and that drove him to be the coach he was for the rest of his college career and then into the NFL. One particular story I liked in um, the revisionist history, Jimmy. I mean, that's kind of what you say when I, don't, I mean, you're a happily married guy. I'm not gonna put that in the air. But when you break up with your ex, and it's kind of what could have been. If I did this, this is what we could have been. I think that's where Jimmy was going with that conversation. But we saw, or his driving force was he didn't want to feel like he felt flying home um, from I think it was a Fiesta Bowl after losing to Penn State, and then he wanted the players to have that same. He wanted all his players moving forward when they lost to have that same pain as he felt that same night. He wanted to make sure the players felt that. So there was a loss that he had when the Cowboys lost. They lost a game that they shouldn't have lost against the Redskins, or at the time the Redskins, the football team, and on their team playing going back to Dallas. As everybody boarded the plane and sat down, and the stewardess was about to pass out dinner. He's like, no, they get no food tonight. No, they didn't deserve the food tonight. And he wanted the players to remember to be pissed off coming up, to be pissed off, number one, to hurt, number two, and to understand when you lose, there's losing is not a good feeling. So remember how you feel right now, and so we don't have to have this situation again. And needless to say, they went on to win their back-to-back Super Bowls. Kind of, and I hate to say what if, but I was not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I was most definitely a Jimmy Johnson fan, Michael Irvin fan. I was a fan of Emmitt Smith because I liked him. I couldn't understand why he fell to the 20s in the draft. Um, but if that team stays together, man, if Jimmy remains the head coach, it wasn't like when Michael retired. If Jimmy stays the head coach, man, I mean, they legitimately could have won 5 in a row. Legitimately. And kind of the same with your Lakers. If Kobe and Shaq is able to work that thing out, man, those guys could have legitimately won 5 in a row. So we missed out on some greatness, man. We missed out on some greatness with from Jerry, and then your Lakers, man, just underachieving. We missed out on some greatness right there. But that's what stood out to me about Jimmy Johnson. I mean, Peyton Manning, I thought had a great speech. They limited these guys to 6 minutes, and Peyton, his little story about the bus talking to each other and playing football with each other, it was kind of comical. It just kind of shows his personality. And you talk about another. We talked about earlier in Deshaun Watson kind of liking certain things. I mean, everybody forgets Peyton Manning had his little issue with the trainers at Tennessee now, and where he's getting a little cute and fresh with the trainers. Everybody forgets that. Everybody wants to forget about how things like that happen. It's unfortunate now that Deshaun Watson kind of gets his whole career gets pegged like that. But some things aren't out of the, some things aren't. Out of the norm is the best way I could put that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that was that one trainer that one time. It wasn't like a a repetitive thing. There wasn't 23 allegations. It was just the one.
It was more than one, but only one that he got. The other guys, Archie got to the other ones. Archie made sure it was only one that okay.
Hey man, we're on tape, right? You talk about the first family in NFL. Okay, I'm just saying.
Hey Peyton, I like Peyton.
I mean, speak
Peyton,
your mind. Speak
Peyton,
your mind, but
you do a great job. Archie know what happened. Archie the Don.
Archie's son's got 4 Super Bowls. Okay,
yeah,
and his
exactly.
grandsons is coming up, and I'm just saying.
Man, Archie know exactly what he did. Archie know everything.
Okay, I like our show though, Cam. I like what we do. I like our show.
You saw what happened. You saw what happened when Archie didn't want to get drafted. Oddly enough, Archie didn't want his boy to come to and play in San Diego.
When Eli said no, I'm not as a number 1 pick. I'm just not going to go there. Yeah.
That was a little different than I'll go play.
Yeah,
he didn't even make the threat. I'll go play baseball. he didn't even make that.
He
threat.
just said I'm not going there. He didn't say anywhere else. He just said not there.
Oh my goodness, that shows
Archie on his left and Peyton on his right. Yeah, I am not going to San Diego. That's not happening.
Oh my goodness, that was bananas. That. To your point, maybe I need to apologize, Archie.
Okay, thank you.
I mean no harm, Archie, and Peyton.
Thank you. Just so we have an opportunity,
I'm just speaking the truth, speaking the facts.
Okay, well,
but
sometimes you just need to preface it.
Be search the Manny name. Okay. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to be search the Manny name. I think they're great players, Eli and Peyton. Archie, you did your thing back in the day, and you raised wonderful
2 amazing Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Man, okay, enough of Archie, enough of the Mannies. I'll back off, Archie. I'll back off.
Okay, there you go.
So this year, as we know, there's three preseason games. They X'd out the 4th preseason game and elected to go to 17 regular season games. What the NFL has done with the schedule is decided to that week 4 preseason is essentially a bye for the NFL. Essentially it's a bye, vacation week, or whatever week. I want to ask you about getting to rhythm, getting into a rhythm, getting into a flow, and Peyton, I don't mean to besmirch your name again. I don't mean, but this is, I think everybody will understand this correlation. The multiple times Peyton Manning was in a situation going into the playoffs, 13-1, 15-1, 13-3, 14-2. That final game of the season didn't mean anything, right? And they decided to rest their players because that would give them that final week off. That would give them the bye week, and they'd have essentially 2 weeks off before they play the first game in the playoffs, second round of the playoffs, right? And I didn't look this up, but what was his record? Probably 3-5 in that situation, right? Where he's lost more of those games that he's won, where he's rested his teams. Correct? You'd agree with that, right? That week off, I think, is critical to this team getting in rhythm, especially now here at the beginning of the season, where for 8 weeks these guys have been building up in training camp. They build up first couple of weeks to kind of build up their stamina. Second couple of weeks to kind of build up their rhythm and playing in pads. Weeks 3, 4, 5, or weeks 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, the guys aren't playing in preseason, but they're developing this rhythm of being in pads and having a game on Sunday. Now the NFL says, no, we're not playing that Sunday. We're giving everybody a bye, and you guys start, what is it, this September 9. That's a Thursday. So then you guys are going to start the 12th, that weekend of the 12th. What's your thoughts on them having a bye that first week? I don't know any other way to put it. It's not really a bye, but they're just not playing it. They're just not playing games that week 4 would have been week 4 of the NFL preseason or week 1 of the NFL regular season. You follow what I'm saying? They have a week off. What's your thoughts on that?
I do. I'm 100% okay with it. It hurts younger teams more than veteran teams. It absolutely helps veteran teams. I mean, after you kind of go through a training camp for that long, there are little nicks and bruises and aches and pains that it would be ideal if you could have those, healed up by the time it's ready to get for, game time. And, the younger players, unfortunately, they don't get a chance to kind of make those extra plays and kind of let you know who they are. But I mean, that's just part of having an extra, regular season game. You have to take it away from somewhere, right?
So I disagree with it just because men are creatures of habit. Men are creatures of habit. So now we've gotten to this flow over the last 8 weeks. Now you're just saying, okay, we're going to change it up for the next.
No, we're just saying you're not going to hit or play anybody for a week.
Why not take that week off and move it to October 1, week 5 of the NFL season? Say,
what is your solution? To just have them just keep on playing, just keep running, just keep going? I mean,
no,
I don't understand. I don't understand what your solution is.
Here's my solution right here. Is once the guys get in rhythm, they're in rhythm. There's a flow that develops through training camp. There's a flow that develops through the week after week after week after week.
Isn't typically preseason? Isn't typically game 3 the dress rehearsal, and then the 4th game is like to see what else you got left, right?
Or you're letting
so they do the dress rehearsal.
I'm not
and they take a week off, and then they start the season.
I'm not arguing for them to play that 4th preseason game. That's not what I'm arguing for. I'm arguing about them taking that week off when that bye between the week 3 of preseason.
But Cam, your alternative is for the season to start like after the 3rd preseason game.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I bet I'm willing to bet
because they were already doing that. They were already having their dress rehearsal week 3. Week 4 is just like to just see if there's anybody else that can make the team.
You're not listening.
And then they start the season.
Cleveland, you're not listening to me. My proposal would be that week 5, week 6, either one of those weeks, you want to take a week off. Then say the NFL is not.
So your
playing
proposal is to start the season after the third preseason game.
Yes. Continue to flow, and I would guarantee. I will ask if I get an opportunity. I'll ask any players I can. Would you rather have essentially that bye week before the season, or would you rather have week 5 or 6 off? Which week would you rather have off? Knowing that you have a bye later in the season already. You're going to have a bye coming in week 8 or 9. Most teams is going to be 8, 9, or 10. They're going to have that bye then. Would you rather have that week 1?
No, Cam, but this is an opportunity for the entire league to get the bye week at the same time. It's not staggered.
Okay.
You can't just say week 5 we're not going to play. No one's going to play.
Why not? You're telling me before the season starts we're not going to start.
I thought you were a little bit more savvy than that. You think they can take a week off of NFL, just the entire NFL?
Why not? You're doing it already. You're doing it already. You're going from week 3 of preseason to now we're going to wait a week and have a season. We're doing it already. You don't see it that way?
Cam, during the middle of the season, there will never be a time when there is no NFL football.
Well, there shouldn't be, but they're already doing that.
That is exactly what you're proposing. You're proposing that every team just not play week 5. And that's not a real thing.
I guarantee any player, coach.
Oh, yeah, player, coach, for sure. I'm talking about owners. I'm talking about franchises and organizations. You think they're going to take a week off? The entire league.
That's what they're doing that. They're already doing that. Why don't
they're taking 4 teams. 4 teams at a time get a bye, Cam.
Why don't you see Labor
4
Day
teams
weekend?
at a time.
Why don't you see that Labor
4
Day
teams
weekend,
at a time for 8 weeks? There's never, ever a time when the entire league just does not play a week.
Why don't you, Cleveland, why don't you see week 4 they're taking off? Why don't you, how come you don't see that? How come you don't see week 4?
How come you don't understand how ridiculous it is, what it is that you're saying? No league takes an entire week off of this no activity.
I guarantee,
unless they're playing an all-star game, and the NFL doesn't play an all-star game.
I guarantee any player or coach would rather have.
Players and coaches would love that. They absolutely would. The NFL, not so much.
Versus they're taking
Fox, NBC, ESPN, Disney. Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, it's already happening. You refuse to
never
see that.
It's never going to happen. The whole league is not going to take a week off.
What channel did you watch preseason game on? Well, what channel?
Preseason games.
No, what channel did you watch the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers? What channel were you watching?
I didn't watch that game. So what?
Okay. It was on NBC. Just to want to help you out. You say all.
Okay. No, Cam. You're all over the place here, man. Let me try and rein you back in here. Okay. The National Football League is never going to have a week where there's no National Football League games during the regular season. That will never, ever, ever, ever happen.
Yeah,
I know you think it would be cool because the players could get rest and the coaches can get back to, scheming and all that kind of stuff. But just the rest of the way the National Football League works, yeah, there's no such thing as that.
Yeah, that's exactly why I think it would. It's not be cool. Don't get me wrong. That's why I think they should do that.
There's absolutely nothing practical about what it is that you're saying at all. There's no one that would even agree to it. It wouldn't be players and coaches. Sure, they would have the opportunity to have a little bit of extra rest, but what about all the rest of the situation?
No, I think it would be smart, man, because they're already having a week off. The week off that they're having is essentially a bye. You don't want to count that before the season starts for whatever reason. Because the season hasn't started yet, you don't want to count that as a bye.
All right, man. Propose that. See how that See how that goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to talk to Roger and see if I can see who I
Hmm.
can share this
You
knowledge with.
might want to look at the books before you do that and see what a week of NFL football looks like financially for everyone.
They're not hurting. They're not hurting for it. They're not hurting.
Oh, okay.
So Cleveland, let's get into this AFC West or NFL division shit. So just coming about that, we might as well take a week off. We might well take a week off before the season starts, and we might well get a vacation in. Since you giving everybody a week off, you gonna give me a week off?
No, we're not the National Football League. It doesn't work quite like that.
Oh, okay. Let's see how quickly that changes. Um, Come to think about it, though, we're looking at the AFC West this week or this season. Excuse me. Their predictions. Um, I mean, we got the prediction where I think the first time all season our predictions are lock and step here.
Spot on.
Chiefs. I think the Chargers are going to be much improved. I just don't think they're going to be competing with the Chiefs for the division. The Raiders, the Broncos are going to stink. I mean, unless they just go ahead. If they don't start Teddy Bridgewater, they might win 3 games this season. If they start Teddy, they might win 6 games. And I'm hearing the Raiders, man. I've heard this from a couple of different sources that the question that proposed when I asked about the Raiders, the question that came up is, I wonder how long John Gruden is going to be the head coach there. I was like, he's only in year 4 of this 10-year contract.
Is it even 4, man? I thought it was 3.
No, it's 4.
This year 4?
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm like, we're awful quick on this. We're awful quick on his decision making. And is that going to be? I doubt he's going to get fired. But is it going to be Gruden saying enough is enough? I mean, is he going to give us that old? What Urban Meyer does. All of a sudden, I need to spend time with my family and my health issues.
Yeah.
The health issues.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah,
I was surprised. I was very blown away to hear that. However,
why were you blown away to hear that? They've had no success to this point. The experiment didn't work. They brought in Mayock. They brought in Gruden. They tried to bring in Antonio Brown. Nothing they have tried has worked. The only cool thing they've been able to do is build that stadium in Vegas. And they weren't even able to play in that last year. So,
well, they played in it last year. There just was no fans last year.
Sorry, with no fans. Yeah. This year they'll have fans, and that will be cool. But yeah, this is Gruden's last year, man.
You got this as Gruden's last year. You got this as de facto Gruden's last year.
Oh, for sure.
That's interesting. I'm why am I surprised to hear that? Because number one, I expected to see a turnaround, Gruden to turn this thing around. That's number one is what I expected. Number two, he's I think, and I like Derek Carr. I want to say maybe Gruden doesn't like Derek Carr because he hasn't been. You don't hear him talking at great length about Derek and what Derek can do with his team, with his offense, especially. And so I expected Gruden to actually make a change there and then go in a different direction. I expected that last season. I expected it certainly in the off season, and whether he's clearly been unable to do that, but I expected that to happen before I see him leave. And so I don't know. That's interesting that now you have him walking away. That'll be interesting. That's something to catch on. But like I say, the Broncos, unless they start Teddy Bridgewater, they missed out on Aaron Rodgers. Unless they start Teddy Bridgewater, they're going to be 3-6, or they're going to be 3-14 this year. If they were to start them, I mean, they might win 8 games, but without starting them, they're going to be terrible. And so I have the Raiders being better than them, and I have the Chargers. Like I said, Justin Herbert, this new offense that they're running. Your boy Mike Williams is on a contract year, looking like he want to be paid. The defense is, man, they're playing positionless football here, where everybody can play anywhere. I mean, they have Derwin lining up at at linebacker. They have him lining up at safety. They have him lined up to rush a quarterback. I mean, they're they're, they're treating Derwin James like they treat Bam Adebayo in Miami. Derwin is going
or Jamal Adams in Seattle.
Well, that's good. I mean, I don't know if Jamal Adams is serving popcorn or passing out sodas at the games. You know, I've seen a couple times where he's he's been in a chair, he's been in a chair requesting somebody to bring him some popcorn, and
Okay.
requesting somebody.
And
Bring
how
him
many
some
times did you
soda.
see Derwin James last year? Silence is deafening, bro. Yeah.
He looks a lot healthier. He looks like he's
Well, that's
healthy.
great. Let's see him on the field. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see him actually out there working with Bosa. But they have they look like they're ready to play. They look like they're ready to do some things. So, but I just don't think they're going to be able to compete with the Chiefs in the division. That's my anticipation that the Chiefs are still though they may split with the Chiefs are still the cream of the crop in the AFC West. And you agree with that? Everything there, right?
Wholeheartedly.
Do you just have the Chargers in second place just because you don't believe the Gruden experiment worked in Las Vegas?
Yes.
That's all. So it's nothing about what the Chargers and Brandon Staley is doing differently this season.
Love the way they're trying to change that culture, and I know that you have bought into it, very sincerely, and I hope that for them. But yeah, that is the reason. The other two teams suck.
Okay, interesting. Well, so what about you have to applaud the Oregon Duck Rookie of the Year from last year and what he's done, and expect him to get better in the sophomore season, right?
I'm not really quite sure why you had to bring the whole Oregon Duck aspect of it into the criteria, but yeah, I expect Justin Herbert to be better. Sounds like everyone from the interviews that I've listened to that you've done for Voice of the Fans is definitely very impressed with his maturity from last season to this season and his command of the offense and his leadership. So everyone expects him to take that next step. Very similar to the way Tua is supposed to take that next step this year. So
I don't know how that Tua comes into the conversation, but I mean that's a completely different coast and a completely different situation there.
No, I mean Justin Herbert should be the guy. I mean he has all of the tools around him and the experience, and for crying out loud, he was thrown into the fire, and he's better for it.
Yeah, and he shines. So yeah, I expect good things out of him. So let's take a break here, man. When we come back, we're gonna have some NBA conversations. With Luka gets paid.
Mm-hmm.
Luka gets the check, and the Brooklyn Nets they sign a guard. I mean, you might be interested in the guard, and the Warriors are making some action. The Warriors bring back one of their old friends, and I want to know from you, Cleveland, how much does this move the needle? The old friend that they bring back. Yeah, I think you may be very familiar with this guy. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. Let's take a little break right here.
Quick 90 seconds. It's hot as hell in here, man.
All right, man. Get you some water, man.
90 degrees, the shade on the third floor. Whew.
All right, Cleveland, let's do this, man.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, fans. Thank you guys for tuning in once again to week 151 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam, and I got my man Cleveland up there in steamy. And I mean, it looks like steamy Northwest.
It's literally 90 degrees at 8:36. It's hot. And I'm on the third floor, fans.
I mean, you need to get the fans some circulation in their room, man.
Man, I'm trying to make it cool for the show, Don't want too much interruption and, noise interruption. None of that, man. Let's get the show going.
All right, well, let's keep it going, man. Luka signs 5-year, $207 million with the Mavericks. Woo! Luka, cool, $40 million a year. What do you think about Luka? What do you think this does for the Mavericks? You talk to me, man.
Well, first off, he had to earn it because you only get that kind of cheese. You only get the opportunity to extend like that if you make all NBA first team back-to-back years. So, therefore, it's not like he just, wanted that money or, no, he earned it.
Yeah.
Secondly, he is the second coming of Dirk Nowitzki. Mark Cuban tried to do the Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash thing with Kristaps and Luka Doncic. Didn't work out. So, unfortunately, Kristaps is probably on his last legs and going to have to go. But Luka's the foundation up there, and that's the way Mark Cuban likes it. So,
yeah, kudos to Luka for doing his thing. Like you say, he earned that money. And man, I look forward to seeing more big things out of Luka. And yes, they need to get him some help. He tried to carry Slovenia to a goal, but got knocked out in the
semis by France.
Semifinals by France. So he got a lot of things going on. Your guy Russell Westbrook gets his Laker jersey.
Nice.
Yeah, he had the press conference yesterday. Do you still think this is going to work?
Yeah.
Still confident that this is going to work?
100%.
100%. Malik Monk. Bazemore, who you guys already had, you had on your team and cut him already.
He's back. He understands what he was missing. Just like Dwight Howard understands what he was missing. He's back too.
So who's next? Are you going after Embiid? Are you going to sign Embiid this offseason? Should we expect that? Are you going to go? Is Chris Paul coming over?
No, Chris Paul is signed up to be in Phoenix. He likes to go there in Scottsdale. Go figure.
Hey, that's not about. I don't know how much time you spend in Scottsdale.
I spent some time in Scottsdale. That's why I said he's like, okay, I think I might stick around here for a minute. Yeah.
This leads me to another conversation. I thought you had a spot locked up for Dame. You gave.
We did.
What happened?
Because Portland didn't want to budge, and Dame was not proactive with what he was trying to do. He was still kind of in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Russ was like, I'm ready to come home.
What do you think about the story that Russ called up Kawhi wanting to play with their real team in LA?
Yeah, as we discussed, I think that it was a power move on Kawhi's part, but probably more about fit than actual talent. And we'll see how that whole thing, kind of plays itself out in the new form over the next couple of years. But he won't forget. So if it ever comes up to the, the Western Conference Finals and it's Lakers versus Clippers, he won't forget. You know how Russ holds a grudge, right?
Oh, we know. We know. Yeah. It's gonna be sad rooting against him, Russell, this year. It's gonna be terrible rooting against my guy. Will Patty Mills signs with the Brooklyn Nets? Will Patty Mills have more to impact on Brooklyn Nets than Russell Westbrook will have on the Lakers?
No.
Huh?
No. He will
You don't
not.
think he's gonna have a bigger impact?
Well, Russell Wilson's going to
Westbrook.
contribute to the Lakers winning a championship, and that's not what Patty Mills is going to do.
The Lakers are not winning the championship.
Yes, the Lakers are winning the championship in 2022.
Do we have anything on that?
We have whatever you want on it.
That's worth Daniels to me.
Word. Are we in?
We're in. That's
write that shit down.
I'm writing it down right now. Lakers will not win championship 2022 NBA champions. Dinner at Daniels. I'm gonna get that back. I'm gonna get my steak. Dinner at Daniels. I'm gonna get my steak, fans. And yeah, you guys gonna see pictures all over social media of me grubbing, getting stains on my shirt.
I can see the way it's still stinging on you. Still stinging on you, just watching me like that. I know it.
It did.
I know it hurt.
It hurt. It hurt. It hurt to fucking pay that bill too.
I know it hurt. I know it hurt.
Yeah. Dinner at Daniels. Let me put an extra exclamation mark right here.
Boom, do that. Boom, boom. Put two extra exclamation points on it.
Boom, boom, boom. Let me specify this on Cleveland right here. Dinner on Cleveland. Not on me. Dinner on Cleveland. Kimba to the Knicks. Did that help the Knicks? Did it help the Knicks any? No? Nothing. Nope. No movement. The Knicks needed some points. They needed a score. Kimba back home. Is he more comfortable, or is Kimba done?
He is what he is. He's a volume shooter. He's a 9 for 23 kind of guy. He might get you 27 here and there. Every once in a while he gets kind of hot, but he's not dependable or reliable. He was down there in Charlotte for many, many years, and no one really cared or really paid attention to what he could or couldn't do till he got to Boston. And it's like, we now see the limitations on this level, on this platform to your game. And yeah, New York was the 4th seed last season. Brought back Julius for all that cash. Tried to improve the point guard situation. Not so much.
So are they worse than number 4 this season? Do they not even become number 14?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, Atlanta is already gonna, surpass them. That would be the 4 or 5 split, and then you have to ask yourself, did anyone else get better in the Eastern Conference?
Did Philly get better? Philly was
ahead of them, so that doesn't count.
You got Knicks. You got the Nets. You got Philly. Boston. Did Boston get better or worse?
Boston got worse.
Boston is making some moves. Boston is making some moves. I don't know that they got better, but they're making some moves. You say Philly or Atlanta surpasses them with Collins and Atlanta? Didn't Atlanta lose by Donovich? Atlanta lost somebody.
They run it back, man. They're good to go.
So the Bucks, I left out the Bucks there. So you got the Nets, the Sixers, and the Bucks. That's the top 3 teams. Then you got Atlanta coming at 4.
That's correct.
Wow. Where you have the Knicks? 5 or 6?
5 or 6,
maybe. Yeah, you have Atlanta coming at 4. Chicago. Does Chicago make the playoffs? Not even the play-in tournament.
That chemistry is not good, man. I don't know who thought Lonzo, Levine, and DeRozan were going to take you somewhere. No.
Well, you want Alonzo, you get a guard who can pass and play a little defense. Levine he's not known as a defensive player.
Bro, you heard me, right? Lonzo, Levine, and DeMar DeRozan are not getting you to the playoffs.
No, not even to the playoffs.
And I'm so sorry. Why leave out the Miami Heat that just picked up Kyle Lowry?
Miami Heat, they got
Okay.
better. They got better. And
They got better.
They kept their
I'm
guys.
so sorry to
So they're
Atlanta.
fine.
Actually,
Yeah.
they're the number 4 team, and then Atlanta, and then maybe.
Yeah, there you go. So there it is. So the Knicks at 6 at best.
6 at best.
At best. Well, there you go. Good call. Andre Iguodala resigns with the Warriors. What does this mean to them in the Western Conference?
Man, that he gets to play with his former teammates that they had past glory with, and he gets to go down with them as they kind of ride off into the sunset, man.
Ride off into the sunset.
What could have been?
Whoa! You have the Warriors riding off into the sunset, like meaning Clay and Curry, and that's old news. So a lot of people had Curry as a potential MVP candidate last season.
Still very well could be. I was one of the people that had him as a candidate last year, and could still very well be the MVP next year. They just won't win a championship. They play in the Western Conference of the National Basketball Association camp. And the microwave dynasty is over.
You had them as old news, as if they're done. You said riding off into the sunset. Like,
I mean, they can play for some conference championships. You know what I'm saying? Second round, have some really tough tussles with Phoenix or Denver, and and certainly make it respectable. But no, they're not winning any more championships in Golden State.
So you have. How does your West go right now? How does your you got the Clippers at number 1. Clippers and Steve Ballmer.
I believe Steve Ballmer is watching, so yes, I have the Clippers at number 1.
Who do you got at number 2?
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
Number 3 would be the Denver Nuggets.
Where's your Phoenix Suns?
They would be number 4. Utah Jazz would be number 5.
Okay.
Dallas Mavericks would be number 6.
You think Dallas is going to be number 6? They haven't had. I don't know that they made enough move to be number. Well, Luka alone, I guess, can get them to 6, huh? Number 7. Who's in the play-in tournament? You go to
the Memphis Grizzlies at number 7.
Well, Memphis and Golden State competed for that play-in tournament last season. So Memphis, where's Portland and Dame Dollar? They don't even make the playoffs. Dame, who was
they might get the Memphis spot, in which case it could go Golden State and then Portland and then Memphis not making the playoffs. But I think that Memphis can, learn from that experience and perhaps take that next step.
Wow. So you got Dame potentially out of the playoffs. That's what it sounds like.
Well, I mean, you heard the list. I mean, wherever you want to interject, I mean, is fine.
Tell me this. You got Melo. Your guy Melo. Your guy. You've been screaming about Melo for the last 5-6 years. Don't be search his name. He signs with the Los Angeles Lakers. What does that do for the Lakers? Who's more impactful for the Lakers, Westbrook or Carmelo Anthony?
Russell Westbrook is more impactful.
So does Melo get 10 minutes a game?
Melo gets somewhere between 17 and 20 minutes a game.
And what is he going to average? 8-9 points a game?
We're not sure just yet.
What do you mean?
I would say more like 12 to 14 is kind of what the range I'm looking for.
He averaged 13 with the Portland Trail
Blazers. Oh wow! So I nailed it. Yeah, somewhere between 12 and 14 points a game.
So let me look at this. So you expecting to get the same production out of Carmelo Anthony that he got in Portland last year?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think that's a little. I think that's a little. What do you say? Ambitious? Wouldn't you think?
No, I don't. I know that he's going to be motivated. I know that he understands that this is his last best chance to get that ring and become one of the members of the class of 2003 to be Hall of Fame worthy and have a championship.
So remember he laughed about coming off the bench.
That was like 4 years ago.
When he was right. He was better. Most people will say he was better at 4 years ago when he was 32, not 36. So
it's in much better shape now. He's a vegan.
Oh my goodness. Really? Is that what you're going by?
Mm-hmm.
So he played 24 minutes last season. And he got 11 shots. Is he going to get 11 shots this season?
Sure.
11 shots per game, he's going to get that?
Mm-hmm.
It's Carmelo Anthony. And you're expecting 11 shots, and he's going to be 11 points a game because he averaged
somewhere between 12 and 14 points a game, as I said.
He averaged 13.4, which would have been his second worst of his career, actually. Mm-hmm. Every year for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, don't look too long at the list. It's the 10th 11, 12, greatest score in the history of the NBA. Yeah. It'll look pretty gaudy.
15 consecutive years, he averaged over 20 points.
Yeah. It's Carmelo Anthony.
I don't think you heard what I said. 15 consecutive seasons in the NBA, he averaged over 21 points. Over 21 points.
Oh, no, I know who Carmelo Anthony is. It sounds like you're just getting to that discovery phase of the game.
I mean,
yeah, I know who Carmelo Anthony is.
He went down to 16-13 and 15-4. He was out of the league at one point because, those points.
I'm sorry, does it have an asterisk by that one season where Kevin Durant was the 4-time scoring champ and he just said, no, I kind of need this title for my own, validation and took it from Kevin Durant? Is there an asterisk by that season?
Or Kevin Durant took it from Carmelo is what you're saying?
No. Kevin Durant was 4-time scoring champion and Carmelo had enough and said, yeah, let me show you what getting these buckets is all about. Should be somewhere about 28, 29. What do you see?
He averaged 28.7 for the Knicks in 2012-13.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Okay, and then how about after that?
It's all downhill, buddy. 27, 24, 21, 22, 16.
So yeah, we'll take that 28.7 season as the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was the second best of his career as in his fourth year in the league, 28.9. All of that means nothing, though. You know why?
Why is that, Cam?
You want to know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Here, give me 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna tell you why. All of that means nothing, Cleveland, because in 2012, his Knicks. The Knicks he played for, he was the star of the team.
Yeah,
they did.
He's a star of every team that he's played on, except for the Portland Trailblazers.
I can't find that record in 2012.
You don't need to go delving into Carmelo's past, trying to find out some deep, dark, twisted, weird statistic. All you need to know is he's going to win a championship next year, and that's all that matters, Cam. So just enough with the yip yapping, okay? Carmelo's about to be a champion. He's just like all the rest of his 2003 brethren.
So he's
less dark on Village.
He's gonna be riding the pine and riding the Russell Westbrook coattails onto the championship. That's what you're telling me?
Wow. He's a Laker now. So
47 wins, 20 losses. That's what they had in that year. He's gonna be on the bench, bro.
That's cool. He's okay with that.
If you
He'll
guys
be in
count on
LA.
him,
He'll be with his friend, and he'll be contributing, and he'll be a great presence in the locker room. He'll be able to tell these young kids, everything he's been through, and as one of the top 10, leading scorers in the history of the NBA, he'll be able to tell them about getting buckets.
he'll be able to tell them how to punch and how to hit and run, like when he tried to swing on somebody and ran to the other
Oh,
end of the
hey
court.
man, why are you bringing up old stuff?
I mean, that's
We're talking about championships, man.
That's what I'm known. That's what I know Carmelo for. That's what I know him for, hitting and running.
Okay.
You forgot about that?
No, I didn't forget about it.
Okay.
It's just old news. We're talking about championships.
He's not even played for a championship. So how all of a sudden am I supposed to anoint him?
Well, he is going to play for the championship this year and win it.
Well, you better hope they do, or I'll be up there with the quickness, scheduling my Daniels, and we're going back to Let Shy. You say you don't want to go back there. We're going back to Let Shy for Daniels. How about that? How about that one?
We'll go to Lake Union. I'm cool with that. We can go downtown. I'm cool with that. We can go to Bellevue. I'm cool with that. I'm not going back to Let Shy.
Well, they go.
It don't matter anyway. It will be my choice, man. Why are you trying to
No, I'm
prognosticate, look into the future, man?
I'm planning this
the
out.
Lakers are going to win it. The Lakers are going to win the NBA title, man. So
yeah, okay.
This conversation is kind of pointless, really.
We'll see, man. We'll see. So we got. We'll see. Jalen Green and Kate Cunningham, man. Have you seen either of those two get down? Who has a better career between these guys?
I've seen Jalen get down. I'm not a big fan of Cade's game. Bigger fan of Jalen's game, so I would have to lean that direction.
I mean, Jalen played against better competition and had just as good of a season last year. So, but Cade's game is smooth. Cade's game was smooth when I watched a bit of the other night. Well, they competed against each other. Cade got him a couple times. Pull up three, drive to the hoop and dish. So it's gonna be interesting to see these two guys, compete over the next several years, right?
True indeed.
All right, Cleveland. Let's end this one here, man. When we come back, we're gonna give the fans this week in history, and then we're gonna talk about fans. Everybody, if you're a hip hop fan, everybody has seen it by now. The Locks versus Dipset, and we're gonna get Cleveland's feedback on it on the Locks versus Dipset versus. So let's take a little break back, and when we come back, that's where we're gonna start. Locks versus Dipset. Let's talk about it. Let's take a little break here. You good?
Good to go, homie. So sorry, I don't want to take my shirt off. It was dripping wet with sweat. That's cool. Let's pull it back.
Man, work on that circulation, man. Get the fan blowing.
Because the fan makes too much goddamn fucking noise, then you won't be able to hear me. It'll sound like a fan.
Okay. I mean, you know how to turn it so you can get the right circulation.
Hey, look,
right?
man, I'm not in Costa Mesa with the air conditioning, okay? Look, I'm not, okay? I'm on the 3rd floor in Seattle, Washington.
It's crazy. It's crazy when somebody says it's hot out here, man. And I'm like,
I know, because it's every day it's just hot for you. I understand.
No,
I had the same conversation with my cousin a few days ago.
No, when they say it's hot out here, I'm like, have you lived somewhere else? Dude says, oh, I'm from North Carolina. But what the fuck you mean it's hot here? Like North Carolina where it's humid and what are you talking about? Dude, this is perfect. Like that just kills me when it's as bad as when it's 60 degrees and people say it's cold here. Like, and then you see, maybe 60 degrees for two days in a row, and you see women coming out the house with hat and scarves. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? It's just crazy. The guy told me yesterday, "Oh, it's so hot out here." Dude, what? Have you been anywhere else? Like, it's warm. I'll get you. It's warm. The sun's shining, but that's a good thing. Like, let me just drive you about an hour north to the valley, where it's 96 degrees and it's humid. Okay, right here we're 10 minutes from the beach. There's nice little breeze going. There's not a cloud in the sky. This is perfect weather. But it's let me get off my weather soapbox. All right, let's do this, man. Let's do this. Second break. I'm gonna record this one. All right, fans. Thank you guys for tuning in to Voice of the Fans podcast. We appreciate you guys each and every week for tuning in, for sticking and staying with us. The hottest podcast in all the land, Cleveland. This week in history, August 15th, 1824. Freed American slaves established country of Liberia on the west coast of Africa. I mean, that makes me want to go to Africa right there. Just check out Liberia. See what the free slaves came up with. I'm interested now of going to Africa to see what they came down with. What about you? What say you?
Definitely. It's one of the most interesting countries in the world.
August 13th, 1892. The first issue of Baltimore's Afro-American newspaper came out. 1892. Nice publication from the paper. August 9, 1936. What happened, Cleveland?
Jesse Owens was smoking them. 4 gold medals.
4 gold medals in Berlin, 1936. August 11, 1965. I mean, enough's enough. Watch riots started here in South Los Angeles. The history of Los Angeles, man, is really something to kind of pay attention to look at. Just the history of Los Angeles itself, how people migrated west to get here, and then how the police department started out here as they went to the south to get all of their police sheriffs, and head of law enforcement came from the south. And if you had a military background and you were for the south, that all automatically voted you to the higher levels within the police rankings here in Los Angeles back in the day. And with that, they already weren't accustomed to free black people. And so they didn't believe that the blacks should be free. They didn't believe that blacks had rights and the right to live in society as they did. And that perpetuated the racism that we see here in Los Angeles, still to this day. By one simple move is start bringing those cops here to kind of create a culture of to bring a culture within the police system here in Los Angeles. It's just an area. When you look back at the history of it, it's just a weird and eerie dynamic that nobody really pays attention to, man, because everybody thinks it's all sun and fun, beaches and palm trees. But there's a lot to be said about the inner workings of the city here that really gets overlooked, and it's quite interesting. With that, Cleveland, we're gonna move on, and it's been over a week now, Cleveland. We're talking to you Tuesday, August 3, 2021. History went down in the Madison Square Garden Hulu department, Hulu Theater. Cleveland, have you watched Locks vs. Dipset yet?
Fans, I'm going to have to let you know. During the day, I have responsibilities that have carried me.
Wait, hold on. Wait, let's just answer the question, man.
Away from an opportunity to really see this. I have heard on numerous occasions
simple question
that Al Qaeda Jada tore it down, ripped it up, made history.
You can't give me somebody else's
Voice of the fans.
Opinion of what happened.
Unfortunately, because of my hectic work schedule, I have not been able to see it. I've been trying to provide support my family.
Oh my goodness! Just say I'm not a hip hop fan.
I've been trying to stay on the.
Just say I'm not a hip hop fan.
Straight and
Just
narrow.
say that.
Cam would lead you to believe I'm not a hip hop fan because I have not seen.
Just say that. Just say
it's historic recording, and I'm just trying to implore you, fans. I've just been busy. I just been at work. I just been working 16, 17, 18 hours a day.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And I haven't had an opportunity to see it. But I promise you,
ain't been to the post office. You ain't been to the post office to get
I promise you, by the next time we have this show, I will have witnessed the show. I have not had a chance to do it just yet, but by the next time we have a show.
I mean, I'm not even gonna ask him next week, fans. I'm not gonna ask him next week. He's gonna have to bring that shit up on his own. Because if you're a hip hop fan, if you live
and I will bring it up, fans. I'll let you know that I saw it.
If you live and breathe this, you would have seen this by now. You'd have seen. I mean, the highly anticipated verses. This wasn't Jada and Fabulous, who are two. I mean, Jada already we know, and a lot of people know now he's one of the best to ever do it. Fabulous is already one of the best to ever do it. So this is two cats from the city of New York, the boroughs of New York City, getting after it. It wasn't like that. That was a friendly, that's what Versus was meant to be. That friendly exchange of music recording. That's what it was meant to be. We seen the OJs and the Commodores, a friendly exchange of music. We've seen Alicia Keys and John Legend. No animosity there. Just two artists playing music back and forth to each other. We've seen E40 and Too Short. Just a celebration of music. These two guys just talking about their history, letting us know that in the pandemic they're still working on projects together, letting us know that hip hop is just in the soil, man. It's from the soil. So if you live and believe this, if you live this, you believe it, you buy into it, you understand where the genesis of the music, you can't get away from it. There's no way you can get away from it. There's no way work pulls you away from it. There's no way life pulls you away from it.
And fans, just to clarify, all of the other verses that he's talking about, I've seen all of them, and plus also Meth and Red doing their thing. I just was not able to get to this one because I have been immersed in work and what it is that I am doing, trying to make a success of myself, fans. And he's trying to make it seem like I'm just not a fan of hip hop because I just haven't been able to concentrate and focus on other things right now. But I'm out of that fog now.
Red and
by
Meth,
the next time we have this show, I'll let you know all about it.
Red and Meth was another good celebration. The two obviously made movies together. Obviously, went on tour together. And
hey Cam, like I said, all of the other performances, all of the other verses that you're talking about, I saw all those.
Great
I just missed
show.
one.
No, they're great
My
shows.
attendance isn't perfect, Cam. Sometimes I gotta, do what I gotta do.
Hey, I'm not. And I'm not mad at you. Again, Cleveland, I'm not mad at you. I'm telling you, I'm not mad at you. If you're not a hip hop fan like that, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad at people who aren't sports fans. It's okay. Live your life, do you? If you go to the Philharmonica show downtown, they open up a new orchestra downtown in Seattle. That's okay if you want to go hang out there and listen to the trumpets and the violins and the harps play. The harps is a beautiful instrument, makes beautiful noise and beautiful sounds. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Do you? I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying, if you're a hip hop fan, you would have seen the greatest show, the greatest verses that has been performed at. You would have seen that a week later. If you weren't looking for, number one, if you weren't looking forward to the greatest verses, and saw the animosity and the trash talk that went back and forth on Instagram, if you weren't looking forward to that moment, and then haven't seen it a week later, you're not really a hip hop fan. You can like the music. You can like the genre. That's true. I mean, yeah. You can hear when the radio plays it. That's good. That's good. When K-Fox, you can turn on the radio when K-Fox plays it. That's all cool. But if you don't make time, carve out time.
Did you really just go to 1250 K-Fox on me, man?
I'm just saying, man.
I know you didn't just really go to 1250 K-Fox.
I don't know what's going on. That was the last
Did you really just go to 1250 K-Fox on me?
Is K-Fox, do they still play K-Fox up there?
Okay.
Is K-Fox still rocking?
Okay.
Is K-Fox still rocking up there?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't want to say KUBE. I don't
want
to.
1250 K-Fox on me. I will not forget that. I'm writing that shit down right now.
I don't want to go
811. You went to 1250 K-Fox on me.
I don't want to go to KUBE. I'm not gonna put that on
you will not survive my wrath, my friend.
Listen, man. Listen, I'm just saying.
You will not survive it. It's about to get ugly.
If you weren't anticipating the show, bro, I almost bought tickets to go to New York to watch this.
So imagine how busy I must have been to not be able to see this.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I almost bought tickets to go to New York to see this. I said, okay, sis. Look,
look.
You got to go cover this for me.
All that I'm saying is, look, man. By the next time we have this show, I will have seen it. And it has nothing to do with my love of hip hop, not having seen it to this point.
Hey, man,
everything was my grind and my hustle.
The fans might have moved on by then. You can bring it up if you want. I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot talk to, but I won't approach the subject before because I thought I was dealing with some hip hop heads. I won't approach the subject no more. I don't want to make you feel like you're out of the ordinary, or I don't want to make you feel like a weirdo because you haven't seen the Locks and Dipset, the most anticipated, the best verses thus far. I don't want to make you feel like a weirdo because you haven't seen it. Okay. I mean, hey,
fair enough.
That's beyond me, but it's just some weirdo shit that you haven't seen it by now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
I mean, what happened to Dame is how long does Dame stay in Portland? Since all of a sudden now the Lakers talked about him, how bad they wanted him, and why don't you come here? And there was photoshops of them putting his name on a Laker jersey, him with the number 0, and now you guys just called up somebody else and gave that number to somebody else. What? Lakers fans are not only are you so fickle, but I want to know what happens to Dame now. Does he stay in Portland? Now he's unwanted. Now he's unwanted, huh? Now he's left to Portland to kind of rock for himself.
No, I mean, come on now. I mean, if there was a way to get Dame, we would have got Dame. Again, Dame was being a little bit indecisive as to what he wanted. He had the commitment to go play, get that gold medal. Congratulations to him for doing that. And, negotiations had to go on while he was, over there in Japan. Unfortunately, it just didn't move quickly enough. It wasn't the right time. I think Dame ultimately ends up in NYC. I don't know if it makes them good enough to actually get to a championship.
In NYC or in Brooklyn?
No, NYC.
I mean,
with the Knicks.
I might do a Kyrie for Dame right now. Huh? Mm-mm. Who says no? Who says no to that?
Portland says no to that.
Kyrie for Dame?
Yeah, Portland says no to that.
What else you want? I'll give you DJ. I'll give you DeAndre Jordan.
Mm-mm.
No, what it take? DeAndre
Jordan. Because you're getting nothing from Kyrie. You can barely get anything from him in Brooklyn. You trade him to Portland, Oregon. You think you can get something out of Kyrie? Wow. I mean, it was already kind of hard to get his attention on game night, right?
I'm just saying, in Portland, well, nobody's around. No. There'll be people. They'll actually want to hear what he has to say.
Nope.
in Brooklyn, nobody cares what this shit you coming up with. They might listen to you in Portland. They buzzing. All these damn beer gardens up there. They all want themselves. They might actually listen to Kyrie in Portland.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
If I'm Brooklyn, I might call up and try to do that. What will it take to make that happen? Can you imagine Dame Dollar?
Now, if you give Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris,
that's another.
Be on your way.
That's how soon before Portland before Philly makes that call?
Oh, that. Does that sound lovely? I mean, you hear the way I just laid that out? Yeah, that sounds beautiful. Do that.
I mean, you don't get nothing from Tobias anyway. Not when it counts.
You get 22. I mean, he was almost an all-star.
Not when it counts.
Well, hey, man, we'll put him in a package with the aforementioned Ben Simmons. Send him out to Portland.
You could Tyrese Maxey can make up for Tobias Harris, what he brings to the table.
Okay, well,
in his second year,
there you go.
You'll lose some defense because now you don't have the 6'9" dude running around guarding everybody, but you lose some defense. But that would be now you're scoring 125 a game though. Now, that would be a good move. So we'll see how long he stays there, or if he's heading to. Do you got a prediction of when he heads to Philly?
I would say maybe mid-September, if that was to happen.
Oh, early. You got that happen early.
Yeah, I don't think they want to get into a whole long season with another Ben Simmons kind of. I just think it's going to work out.
Do they start the season with Ben Simmons though?
Preferably no.
I mean, I try to ask Chris Haynes. Remember, I said Chris Haynes, they'll forget about kind of what Ben had did in the offseason by the time the season comes around. He's like, no. Is what have you done for me lately? So it'll be interesting to see if they actually finish or start the season with Ben Simmons. How soon before Becky Hammond is named the head coach?
2 years.
Is she gonna stay in San Antonio, or she got to go elsewhere to get a job?
Elsewhere to get a job.
Who signs her? Do they sign her? Portland. They got a new coach. They got a new coach in Portland, so it's just
Portland's got Chauncey Billups coaching.
Yeah, so it's not going to be there.
That was where she's interviewed before they hired Chauncey. So it's going to be someplace like Sacramento.
Okay. Does she work out?
Hard to say.
That'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting fit there. Sacramento, Minnesota. So one of those places, huh? Good little breeding ground. Interesting. What NFL preseason games are you checking for this weekend? Who do you want to see get down?
Seahawks, Raiders, that's about it.
Seahawks?
Yeah.
They play tomorrow or Saturday?
We play Saturday.
Chargers go up there to Seattle too. You get your first look at a first-hand look. Well, it'll be week 3. By then, it'll be all no-name guys playing.
Oh, that's right, because the dress rehearsal is the second week,
yeah.
And then the third week is the final week, and then the bye, and then they play.
Yeah, the bye. Yeah.
Right. So they're doing it all the same way, just one less game. Got it.
Yeah. What have they had a bye? They haven't never had a bye before the season starts. So
this will be the first.
So it's not the same way.
Well,
let's try. Shohei Ohtani, talk to me. Talk to me about Shohei.
Here he's doing good. I don't really keep tracks on Shohei like that.
No, we're asking Mr. Baseball. We're asking you to give us an update on what Shohei is doing each week.
He's doing good. Like I said, he's doing good.
He's doing good. Is he having the greatest season in baseball?
It's hard to say. I mean, we still got 40 games left, so
stop it. You just don't want to say. And here's that bias creeping in. Is Shohei Ohtani having the best season in baseball?
Some could argue Fernando Tatis Jr. is having a better season.
He's hurt, man. He gets hurt. How many home runs? 37 home runs leading the majors. 37, 100 and something hits. 75 runs batted in. I mean, he's a 649 slugging percentage, leading the league.
That's great. Sounds like he's doing really good.
What's OPS? What's that? You want me to tell you what that is? On base slugging percentage. You want to know where he's at? He's over 1,000%. This you're supposed to be talking baseball.
Like I said, he's doing good. That's as much as I gotta say about Shohei. Why I gotta talk about Shohei all the time?
Isn't he the league MVP?
Hey, look, man, he's doing good.
Is he the league MVP?
He's doing good. No, he's not right now. They haven't voted.
Who's the league MVP?
I don't know.
Is it anybody from Seattle?
We won't know until the voting comes out.
Is it anybody from the Mariners? That's what we want to know. Or is it anybody from the Mariners?
It will not be a Mariner this year. No.
This year. Has it been a Mariner since Suzuki Ichiro?
No, not since Ichiro.
Not since Ichiro. So basically, the Mariners stink. It's the break.
They haven't had the league's most valuable player since Ichiro Suzuki.
How many seasons ago was that?
That was 20 seasons ago.
Oh, 20 seasons ago. So it was 20 seasons ago that the Mariners were any good. Is that basically what you're telling me? Is that essentially what I'm hearing?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's kind of like saying, the Miami Dolphins haven't been to the Super Bowl in 38 years. I mean, it just sounds kind of like.
I'm not sure how the Miami Dolphins get involved in this conversation, but that's a defense mechanism, fans, right there.
This is very similar.
That's a defense mechanism, and when he gets tied up, in the argument,
like saying the Los Angeles Clippers have never been to an NBA final.
It has nowhere to go.
Entire existence.
He reverts back to Miami. He bringing Miami Dolphins in the conversation. You know what? We had a president that was very good at that. Maybe you listened to a few too many president speeches over the last 4 years.
Oh wow, really?
That deflection right there, that was almost Trump-esque right there. That was pretty impressive. But it's not going to work. It doesn't work on me, fans. It doesn't work on me. So, Cleveland, the time is now. You got 90 seconds. Well, let's get the stopwatch going, fans. So we get the stopwatch going because we don't want to hear too much of this dribble right now. But we're going to get 90 seconds. And 90 seconds, the stopwatch is up now. Go. 90 seconds to talk about them scrubs that's playing the.
Not going to talk about the Mariners right now. They've been a little bit of the doldrums. They've lost 4 out of the last 5 games by 1 run, 3 of them in extra innings. So, just from a superstitious standpoint, I'm not ready to speak on the Mariners right now.
Oh, so you only talk about them when they're doing
leave
good?
Right there.
You only talk about
at 23.6 seconds. Leave right there.
You only want to talk about them when they're doing good.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying right now we need to change the mojo a little bit, and I'm doing my part, which is just, not talking about them right now.
You should be if you don't talk about the Mariners when their mojo isn't so good, you won't never talk about them. We should never hear you talk about the Mariners again if you want to talk about them when they go into a little slump.
Okay, if that's the the position you want to take with it, that's fine. I'm going a slightly different direction with it. I am trying to change their fortunes by being a little superstitious and not talking about them.
So the whole city, I'm stopping it now. So the whole city, this is how the city of Seattle responds when the Mariners stink. Let's just not talk about them. Why don't you just move them to Portland and you don't even have to see them?
Hey, look, man. Enough
you don't even
already.
Have to see them.
Enough already with your Portland talk. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear your Portland talk.
They don't want to slow up traffic. They don't have to. At 5:00 now, guys can get off work and get right on the freeway. Don't have to deal with the Mariners. Oh, but you want to go to the stadium and eat crickets. That's what you guys want to do. You guys want to go to the stadium and eat crickets. Fans, thank you guys for tuning into the show. We're gonna wrap this things up right here. Since I got Cleve on this, he don't even want to talk now. That Mariners come up, he don't even want to talk about them. We've been giving them for the last 8 weeks. We give him a lot of topics. Or this is maybe his NFL switch in the game. Now he's gonna take a bye this week from talking to Mariners. Is that what we're doing? We're taking a bye.
Taking a bye.
Okay. He feeling pressure right now, fans, and like Hall of Famer Peyton Manning says, pressure is something you feel when you don't know what the hell you're doing. So Cleveland is feeling the pressure right now, and he don't want to talk anything about the Mariners because he doesn't know what the hell to say about them. So that's where we are now, fans. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to ask you guys to share our podcast. However you listen to us, wherever you listen to us at, go ahead and hit that share button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like and subscribe to our show. But then hit that share button. Share that with all the sports fans in your world. This is a podcast that I think a lot of people want to hear. I mean, we give you some educational tidbits. We give you some fun tidbits with the numbers. We're always testing out the mind, and then we always have great conversations, great banner. And again, it's kind of like it's an acquired taste. Everybody's not going to like hip hop. Everybody's not going to like the Voice of the Fans podcast. But we're here to give you everything that you guys need within sports, life. We talk about cultural events. We talk about culture. So, and we're going to educate the mind as well. So, fans, thank you guys for tuning in. Cleveland, I want to thank you for your participation as always, man, for the show. Let's do it again next week. Fans, as always, I want to thank you for making our voice your choice.